What's going on YouTube? Domino Paris 21 here with a brand new deck profile for you guys. So, just got my pre-orders in for Extra Set 3 that just been released. And pretty much redone my whole Kagero deck that I previously had. So it's a brand new deck, brand new build, limit break is stupid. And yeah, a lot of things are going on in Vanguard nowadays. Basically, I am going to go through a few explanations of how the deck works, how it's best to play it for those of you who are pretty much new to this deck and want to know how it works. Consult the description below if you just want to see what I'm playing. If you just want to see the deck itself, I'm going to post the deck list right in the description. So if you don't want to hear me talk, just consult that. But if you want to hear me talk, then stay tuned. So, first off, starting Vanguard. Lizard Soldier Conroe, always going to be the same as before. Ride a Kagero on top of him, call him the reverse circle, and you counterblast 1 to search for a grade 1 or less Kagero. Very important because there's actually a few grade 1s you want to have for the most part in certain situations, but I'll explain that when I get to them. But as you're starting Vanguard, next I'm going to be starting with my grade 3s and below, or grade 3s going down. So you have 4 copies of Dragonic Lawkeeper, 2 Dragonic Overlords, and 2 Dragonic Executioners. Lawkeeper, he is the brand new limit breaker that just came out for Extra Set 3. For those of you who do not know what he does, he is limit break 4, counterblast 1, bind all of your opponent's rear guards, so all your opponent's rear guards would just be out of play for the remainder of the turn. And at the end phase of the turn, your opponent calls up to 4 of those rear guards back, so they can kind of reorganize their field. And if they had a full field, so obviously they had 5 rear guards, they lose a card. Simple. Also, while he's in the Vanguard, he gains 3,000 when he attacks a Vanguard. So he can, with the right booster, he is essentially will be 21,000 swinging, which is really powerful. And if your opponent has a Vanguard like Overlord, which loses 2,000 if he doesn't have another rearguard of the same clan, he'll be a 9,000 Vanguard. So another bonus, and your opponent loses interceptors. So a lot of crazy things happen with just 1 counterblast, which really made him really good. Makes him really good. Did a lot of play testing today, and this card wrecked. Really good, especially late game. So I run 4 of them just so I can have him as my Vanguard as quick as possible, because he's the ideal Vanguard. I still run Overlords because if I can't have Lawkeeper, he's just as good because he's 11k. I really never use his counterblast at all. You don't really need to. And he could attack Vanguards by himself, of course. Same thing with Executioner. He can attack Vanguards by himself. And since he does gain 2,000 when he attacks Vanguards, if you boost him under like a Bahr, which is 8,000, you attack for 20. That's really the whole point of him. So, that's it. 8 grade 3s. A little bit more than what I usually run, but there's a reason for that. Next, grade 2s, 4 copies of Nehalem, then 2 copies of Cross Shot to Garp. Can't really say that really quick. He's just a second vanilla 10k for Kagero, because if you're familiar with Blazing Flare Dragon builds, your Blazing Core Dragons, which essentially probably were these, were used to superiorize. Well, obviously you're not running them anymore, so these kind of replaces them, just to get a little bit more power out of the deck. Then I have 3 Berserk Dragons, extremely broken. You know, retire a booster, attack a rear guard, take a -1 instantly. I run 3 just because you'll see it enough, and you're gonna really just use its ability once per game. I mean, I pretty much was able to fire them off consistently every game, so I like them at 3. And then run 2 Bergers. People argue, you know, why I run Bergers. I guess they don't see why he's good. I like Bergers just because it just absorbs attacks. Basically, either I intercept for 10k to block 1 attack, or my opponent attacks it. So that's really why I run Bergers, because especially a lot of the new decks, there's a lot of like crazy crap going on. So you definitely want more protection. But I mean, Berger worked out really well for me. But that's really why. It just gives me more protection. So I run 11 grade 2s. Next for, that was nasty, grade 1s, you have 4 copies of Bahr. He's probably like the most important grade 1 in the deck, other than your Zero Shields, of course, because he's the card you want to have behind your Lawkeeper, so you can swing for 21, or most importantly, behind Executioner, so you can swing for 20. But obviously, keep those at 4. Run 3 Kimnara. It's not as good compared to, you know, using it in the previous like Blazing Flare build, because it had more uses then. It's still not bad to give 1 for 1 to your opponent's grade 1. That's really it. I mean, until we get better grade 1s out for Kageros, I mean, 3 is still good. And run 3 Gojos. I'm not going to run Airmo in this deck because, like I said with Lawkeeper, since he does gain 3 with the skill, I want to be able to have the right booster so I can swing for the magic number, which is 20 or 21. So he just gives me a better chance at having that magic number. Airmo does not. Plus, I mean, I don't really need to recycle anything in my hand because I'm going to be running 4 Zero Shields because Limit Break is crazy. I want to see these as quick as possible so that I can keep them in my hand and be ready. So by the time I get my opponent at 4 damage, it's not going to be too much benefit because I'm going to be blocking all of his Vanguards. Simple as that. That's why I don't need Airmo. And that's why I have a little bit more grade 3s than what I normally like to run, because I have more expendable targets for him. And also I can search him with Conroe. That's another bonus. But yeah, not a lot of boosting power really, but nonetheless with my playstyle, it works out really well for me. All you need is like 2 good boosters and then you're set. So that's my grade 1s. That's 14, I believe. Excuse me. Then next for triggers. Oop, he fell over. I run 4 heal triggers, 4 Tahr, and 2 Rakasha, whatever, for 6 crits, and 6 draw triggers. I love draw triggers. 6 and 6 is actually really balanced because what happens is, not only that I have better chance to draw into my Lawkeeper, a key combo piece in this deck, but also I can draw into other Bahrs. I can draw into Gojos, I can draw into my Barris, or if I already have Barris in my hand, my Zero Shields, then, well, I'll just get more targets. And it's a favorable trigger to hit during the damage check. So really the best triggers to hit during the damage check is heals and draws. Well, I have more favorable triggers to hit. That's simple as that. It's a good balance. That way I can actually have a hand to defend with, and I can help support my field better. Yeah, simple as that. I do 6 and 6. That's the whole deck, pretty much. Excuse me. But yeah, that's the whole deck here. Basically, just to show you guys briefly, the ideal setup you want to have is for your board. That is, for the most part, most Vanguards are still going to be 10k. So the ideal setup that would be beneficial for you is to have a Lawkeeper as your Vanguard, 1 Gojo, a Bahr in the rear guard, and then, where is he? 1 Executioner. So these 2 will be swinging for 20 because you'll have his limit break, of course. And then you can have like a Dragonic Overlord or just any generic 10k for the most part, just to swing by himself. You don't really have to waste another card to boost. I mean, this is just fine because you can easily swing at a Vanguard, you know, swing at the Vanguard, and then if you hit a crit, you'll swing for like 25 with this. So that's really the goal I always try to get to whenever I play. So I try to have like an empty column. I can just either, you know, play around with Berserk Dragons, you know, let me find them real quick. Like, I can easily just have empty column. I'll just call Berserk Dragon, take out a booster, attack a 9k rear guard, give my opponent a minus, and then attack Vanguard. That's really how I play. That's my play style here. So all you need is just your 2 boosters. That's why I don't run that many ideal grade 1s. Simple as that. But other than that, guys, that is my deck profile. It has been doing really well against a lot of the new decks, top tier decks, I guess you can say. It's probably gonna be my main deck for the regionals, but yeah, it's a good deck. Other than that, if you guys are running anything differently in your deck, if you are running this deck, let me know. Leave a comment below. and definitely open to different opinions. Let me know if you have any questions about it. And other than that, guys, definitely give it a thumbs up if you like Lawkeeper, if you want to run Kageros too, which is why you're probably here. But other than that, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.